ClubMX Network production.
Welcome to the Troy Lee Designs and Racetech Suspension and Engines Blair Matthes Project.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Troy Lee Designs Racetech Blair Matthes Project. Thank you for listening and tuning in on YouTube. All of that, really appreciate it. Lots to get into today. It's the off season. It is full on off season, but still lots to talk about, from Dean Wilson to Hunter Yoder to Jason Anderson to Cameron McAdoo to Race Series. Our guy Phil causing problems down under. We got lots to get into today on the Troy Lee Designs Racetech Blair Matthes show. Hit us up on the contact form on ClubMX to get a code to save with Troy Lee Designs. We'll give you a code. You go to TroyLeeDesigns.com, punch it in, and you can save with them. Since 1981, whether you're into moto, mountain biking, whatever, Troy Lee Designs has you covered with high-quality helmets, apparel, protective gear with a legacy rooted in custom paint and innovation. Troy Lee Designs is the brand trusted by athletes worldwide. TroyLeeDesigns.com. Dylan Ferrandis on Ducati in Troy Lee next year. Justin Barsha in Troy Lee on Ducati next year. So stay tuned for that. Good to have Troy Lee Racing back in the sport for sure. Iconic guy, iconic company. Send us an email. We'll send you a code to save. And Racetech as well. Our guy Checkers at Racetech. They got suspension and motor seminars that are going now or real soon. Check into those if you want to get into the industry. Also, suspension, the patented gold valves from way back in the mid-'80s to now. It's a revalve in a box, and there's this authorized Racetech service center probably in your area. So check that out. Tell them you listen to this show. You'll save with the folks at Racetech. Get your bike dialed in for your weight and or speed. Racetech.com. I want to thank also Zool's, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxxis, Decal Works, Stomp Grip, A-Stars, and ASV Levers. All on board with us. We'll tell you more about them later on as the show goes on. No Kellen this week. Something about his family, something about vacation, but that's okay. We still have the regional arena cross champion, Daniel Blair. What's up, DB?
What's up, Steve? Yeah, we're in the off season now, which I actually like the off season because topics can range up and we kind of, I guess we can approach them loosely and see where they go. Because during the season, we are recapping or previewing, and it feels like it's just boom, boom, boom every week. But I actually do like the off season, so we can range it up a little bit. But I got to start. We are going to get into Phil, right? Because you mentioned him in the intro. Because man, I get online and the first thing I see from OzX, it's Phil, and he's got a finger and a collarbone of Luke Clout, and I'm like, wow, it took one night. Yep. One night.
First night racing, and Phil's making social media news, and we'll get into that later because there's a little bit of back history there that I think helped this incident or hurt this incident. We'll get into it one way or another. But again, excuse me, Maxxis tires, great mountain bike tires. Jeremy McGrath helped develop the moto tires, so you know they're pretty well. Mitchell Harrison, too, had a really good year with the Maxxis tires. So thank you to Maxxis.com for coming on board with the show. All right, let's start with some timely news. ClubMX signing coming up too next up. But first up, right off the bat, if you are to believe the rumors out there, and I've certainly done some digging.
You're the rumor. You're the rumor because you're the one who put it up on Twitter. That's where I saw it. So you are the rumor.
And this is your move, Daniel. You've said before that once I put it on Twitter, then you're free to
let's rock and roll, baby. Let's go. Since you put it up, and you did. So what do we got?
Well, I don't think it's done by any means. I don't think you can stamp it. Like you can stamp Tomac to KTM. I don't know where all these guys with carrots in their ears keep hitting me up about Tomac to Kawi, but that one's done. Yes, we've been saying it for months. But this one is not. But it's trending that way. There's been talk, there's been whispers. Cameron McAdoo, second spot, Monster Energy Kawasaki 450 team alongside Sexton. We've talked about it. There's no seats, there's no riders around. Yoder is an option. He really wants it. And Dylan Ferrandis, before he did his Ducati deal, there was some smoke there. But, I mean, I didn't have McAdoo doing this, DB, on my bingo card. You?
No, I did not, because I look at Cameron McAdoo as a 250 guy with unfinished business. That's what it seems like to me, because he's had these injuries, but he shows up every year and gets on the podium. He did it this year. He was on the podium at the opening round, and it's like no matter what, the guy comes out and does enough to make you believe that the 250 championship or race wins are still right there in front of him. So no, I'm looking at McAdoo as, all right, he's getting healed up. It's going to be a good offseason for him. And then he'll come out next year and probably be on the podium at round 1 of whatever 250 series he's in. But I did hear a few weeks back that he was on a 450, just spinning laps on one. And I was kind of under the belief that it was just kind of a getting back on the bike, spinning around, not really part of a plan, until I saw what you saw. And now I'm like, oh, okay. Now I think back to a couple of the things that I have heard, and now it makes sense. So now, does it make sense all the way? I don't know. We'll get into that right now. But this is something that I was hearing a little bit. And now, as of today, this sounds more like something for real. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, lots of talk about Marchbanks. He's a bigger guy and putting him on that. I don't think he wants to do that. I don't think it's his choice. So I would think that McAdoo, this isn't anything they're going to hold you at gunpoint to do, Kawasaki. They got him under contract. They got these guys under contract. They need a guy. I don't think this would be for outdoors. I think this would be, let's do Supercross only, see how it goes. Maybe outdoors, maybe not. We'll see. Cameron's had a hard time staying healthy, as we all know. He's a 3-digit guy. This year he's been so unhealthy in 2025. Am I skeptical? Sure. But kind of worked with RJ. Smoothed them out a little bit. And also, if Cam goes into Supercross 450, like, there's no doubt his desire to win and his right hand is linked to his heart. We've always seen that. His crash in Detroit one of his crashes in Detroit was just comical, how he just kept pinning it when it was getting loose on him in the whoops. But if he goes into a 450 Supercross season, Daniel, with the mentality of like, hey, I'm not a title guy.
Yeah.
I am just learning. I'm going to be a 5 to 10 guy or better, or, a 5 to 10 guy or around 10th or whatever. Maybe, Daniel, that causes less crashes because the expectations aren't there.
Yeah. So we'll start with Cameron, why this is good for him. That is one of them, because he does want to win so bad. He believes in himself at 100,000%. And with that comes a willingness to send. I mean, he was called Whackers for a reason, man. He's loose, and that's why we all love him. But if he is in a class where you're not going to win, you're just going to get your feet wet and maybe go and try to get a top 10, and you're on a bike that really does help you, like RJ says, the 450 helps because it you're not squeezing every bit to try to get something out of it. You put those two things together, and maybe this is something that stabilizes him and smooths him out, and maybe we see a really solid 450 Supercross season by Cameron McAdoo. The other reason why you would want to do it if you're him is just a change in scenery, not away from Kawasaki, because I do feel like he's liked there and they like him, and I feel like it's just that there's a great Kawi relationship. But it's a change of scenery as far as class goes, and just do something different and maybe start a new trend. And that would be great for him. My question is, back to you now, is why on the Kawi side? What is the thinking with them? Did they strike out and trying to get other people, and now they're like, well, let's just bring a guy from the 250 team? Why not Marchbanks? Like, what's Kawi's reasoning to say this is the right move? I mean, what do you think from their point of view?
I don't think Marchbanks wanted to do it. I don't think he wanted to do it because I think the general consensus is that's a placeholder for Levi Kitchen. And maybe in 27, Levi Kitchen goes up. He's got a long-term contract, all of that. So I think anybody is thinking they're going to be another Joey Savacci where they're held, Joey was held for AC and then kind of after a good year just told, hey, see ya. So I think it's just like Cameron being a good soldier. He makes a lot of money. He hasn't raced much. And maybe there's a little bit of pressure of like, hey, man, we kind of need you here. Like, we need you. And then Cameron's like, yeah, I'll do the right thing and I'll do it. Let's try it out. And again, like with less pressure and less expectations, maybe McAdoo calms down a little bit. Look, if you don't respect the 450 on a Supercross track, it will bite you. If you don't play nice with it, it's heavier, more horsepower, all of that, which we all know. So perhaps you can't override it. You really literally can't. I mean, Barsha tries and sometimes does, but you can't really override a 450 on a Supercross track. So perhaps this smooths them out for all the reasons we just talked about, and it's a good fit with no title expectations and just get your feet wet. If you're Kawi, Daniel, you and I and Keller, we've done this. Like, is Cameron better than Guillaume? I would say yes. Yeah. Not outdoors, but indoors.
That's not what you're trying to satisfy first, for sure, is Supercross. And no, McAdoo's a podium guy every year. and wins races like
indoors
a couple years ago.
on
Yeah,
250s.
indoors.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
right. So to me, like, this is Kawi really running out of options, having no options.
Let me ask you this. Is Kawi, I believe, do they pay the salaries of the 250 riders too?
They do, yeah.
Okay, so
they
he's
do.
already paid by Kawasaki, not by Pro Circuit, right? If I remember correctly. So he's already being paid by them anyway. So it's like, hey, yeah, bro, you want to go do 10 rounds on a 250 for the 5th or 6th year in a row and go send city after this thing? Or do you want to do 17 rounds on a 450? Maybe now he gets his own gear deal so he can tag on a little bit more and start a new chapter of his life, which would be great because it did work for RJ. If you're Cameron, you're watching RJ too, and you're going, okay, that worked right in front of me. I just watched this happen. My question then would be, though, is what are the rules currently on 250 eligibility? Because I know they used to be if you were top 20 in points in Supercross, you couldn't go back down to 250. I would assume if he does all 17 rounds, he's in the top 20. So that means he's making the move permanently if he does well. He's not going back. And that's scary because now it's like, what does 27 look like? So he is kind of taking a gamble on his future. If he does good, if he does bad, then he can go back to 250. If he does good, then he's stuck. So
yeah, I think if he does well, then you move forward. I mean, look, he's older, Cam's older, all of that, right? You just start moving forward and doing that and being a 450 guy. It's really in his hands. But I don't think if you're Kawi, like, look, and again, this isn't happening for sure. Don't run around on the social media with all the weirdo accounts that are out there and start saying, I said this is happening. This is not happening for sure. I think it will happen, and it's trending that way, but it's not happening for sure. But he did ride a 450. He's been riding it. They liked him. They liked what they see. And again, I think if you're Kawasaki, you do not want to make Cameron McAdoo ride the 450 class. You can ask him, and you can suggest to him. So you can't make a guy ride at gunpoint. He's not going to perform for you. He's not going to be happy. All of that.
Yeah,
so I think the hold up a little bit is I would guess Nick Way, because that's the guy in his corner. I would guess Nick and Cameron are weighing the pros and cons of making a move like this.
Yeah, that to me, I feel like there's some stability in the motorcycle riding itself, and then it brings a little less stability in his future because, again, if you do well, you're going 450 again. If you don't do well, what's your value at now? Because his value right now is he still gets on the podium on a 250. So to me, it's a little bit of a gamble, but also at the same time, he's not afraid of gambling. He's had to gamble a lot in his life, and it's paid off because, I mean, if you think about his story and where he came from, I mean, that guy came from nothing multiple times, fill-in guy multiple times.
He was at your place, ClubMX, for a while, trying to figure out what to do, and he was driving Christian Craig's motorhome.
Dude, he rode straight rhythm for you.
Yeah, he rode straight with it for me. I bought him a plane ticket in Geneva, or I paid for his upgrade or something in Geneva. Like, the guy has literally gone rags to riches a few times, So it's a really cool story.
He is admirable, man. I love his heart, dude. That guy is awesome. And for me, it's a cool opportunity if it's there, but it does come with some risk, for sure. And it's going to be an odd look because, again, he's going to be a 3-digit guy. He didn't get enough points this year to get a number, which is so weird. But he missed the whole year. And you would essentially have a 3-digit guy on a factory 450 racing Supercross, but it happens to be a guy who's won multiple 250 mains. So it's unique.
Yeah, the 3-digit thing doesn't mean anything because he only didn't get a 3-digit because he only raced 3 times or whatever, right? So that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, it's not like he got 3-digit on performance. He literally got injured all year. So I don't know. I get what you're saying because another group text I was in said the same thing, Daniel. 3-digit factory rider, and I'm just
just odd looking. We know, but it's still odd looking. Yeah. You're like, what?
I'm Sebastian Tortelli, Mike Alessi. All the years that those guys could have 3 digits, they were 3-digit guys.
True.
So
Chase is the other angle in this because, I mean, I think I'm being very fair when I say this, but they're going to have their hands full with him. I think we would agree on that, right? Like, Chase is not going to be the easiest person to deal with. So if you're Kawi, you're probably looking at Cameron too as someone that's not going to be very difficult and bringing a lot of stress to maybe in other ways he might, but definitely not in the way Chase is going to. And to have 2 people that would require a lot of attention might be too much to handle after the season that they just had. So I would imagine that's being played into also.
They definitely need a second guy that's just happy to be there.
Yeah.
And hey, what is Chase like? All right, cool. I'll run that. They definitely need all that because they are going to need some help. So absolutely, you're right about that. By the way,
really cool.
firepowerparts.com, ClubMX guys using their batteries. Great loading ramps and stands, Daniel, I hear. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's great. It was great. I got it on a good deal too.
Yeah, I bet. Firepowerparts.com. They got hard parts as well. Please check those guys out if you can. They do a lot for the sport and teams out there. Alpine Stars protects as well. I got the new Tech Air. I think it's out at the end of this month. $700. Reflatable cartridges. Super cool deal. And yeah, really, really good protection from the folks at Alpine Stars. And besides that Tech Air, they have the Plasma, A1 Plasma. They've got elbow guards, knee guards, chest protectors under the jersey, over the jersey, all that stuff. Alpine Stars protects, and you know them for their boots and stuff, but they got much more than that. Big protection company, so thank you to Alpine Stars. All right, next up. Anything else on McAdoo, DB?
No, happy for him. Sometimes we don't think about the human side, but that would be rad if that does happen. That's a dream come true from a guy who maybe never thought that was going to happen. It's been a rough couple of years. So on the human side, man, congratulations if that gets done. That'd be awesome.
So next up, ClubMX, Hunter Yoder on your spot. We've known about this for a little while. Obviously, look, Yoder was a highly touted Geico kid. When that team folded, he was left with nothing. Kind of struggled through the wilderness a little bit. He told me at one point he was going to quit totally, 100%. Then he got a ride with PRMX Kawi, started ripping hole shots, doing really well, top 10s. You know, he's always around 8 to 12 on the PRMX guys. And you people at ClubMX, you guys, he's switching over to you. And I understand he could have made more money elsewhere, but kind of took a lower deal to, you know, ride at your place / your equipment. He's a really good guy. I hope he does well. He needs to up his outdoor game, but I think your deal is Supercross only, Daniel, from what I gather.
Yeah, so depending on when Keller puts this up, maybe the press release either just dropped or it's dropping right after, but it's coming out on Thursday. But yes, we have signed Hunter Yoder to a Supercross only contract, and there's some things built in that could take it into outdoors and take it into the future and take it into World Supercross too, because I think I don't know if we've announced it officially on this show, but Club is doing a collab partnership with Rick Ware Racing. So all the club bikes are in crates right now on their way to Buenos Aires for Rick Ware. And so we're doing a short-term to long-term deal with them that would also maybe be a landing spot for Hunter if things work out more long-term. But yeah, he honestly, for me, checks every single box for what we're trying to do here. And what we're trying to do at Club is it's the Cody Schock story. Look, Cody was really good, underrated, kind of just scratching at the surface. It wasn't all the way together just yet, but he just needed the right equipment, the right team around him, the right place, and everything came together. And we see that in Hunter. I mean, he got 9th this year in Supercross, so it's not like the results aren't there either. He's gotten a bunch of thirds in heat races. He leads. The dude hole shots a lot. And for us at Club, what we want is a rider that hasn't had it all, that will benefit from the resources and then be able to take a leap like Cody did. And Hunter was that guy. And we had him out here to tour the property and, you know, just put him through a little bit of an interview process. I already knew him a little bit, but didn't know him well. And we had specific questions that we asked of him just to get a vibe if this was the right guy for what we're trying to accomplish. And honestly, he nailed every part of it. And so, yeah, we made him an offer, and he did have other offers out there. This one, though, fit what he wanted. He wants to take a chance, and Club is a place of opportunity. I mean, Max Volan's career has been now rebuilt here. I mean, we gave him the opportunity to put a handbrake on. Again, Cody Schock, and then you look at Federstoff and Malinowski, these kids, they come here, and they have a great opportunity to I guess, change their trajectory, and we want that for Hunter, and he fits exactly what we want. So, yeah, done deal. He's on the property. He already started riding outdoor for about a week, maybe a week or two, and then he'll bridge over to Supercross and start boot camp. And number 60, Hunter Yoder, ClubMX.
Yeah, listen, he's outperformed his expectations, I think, as a privateer guy, and he's done well. I think, with some structure. I think his fitness needed to get a bit better. And you guys will help him with that. The bike should be pretty good, as we've seen. So, yeah, this is it for Hunter Yoder, like a little bit of a make or break thing for him. And hopefully he figures it out and and does pretty well. But yeah, the guy can ride. He's got some skills. So
and he wanted that. He wanted the pressure of going for it. You know, again, there's multiple paths you can take when you're someone like him. There you can take, a better deal financially that maybe satisfies now a little bit, but sometimes you got to take a gamble on yourself. And he said he's put in the work and he's ready for that shot. And again, for Club, it starts with the starts, man. Like when I built out the group of riders that we had on the list, and it was about 7 to start, and then it kind of just shrunk itself down to about 3 by the end. It really came down to the fact of that dude puts himself up front. And when you're up front, you have a shot. And so we know he can do that part right. Well, now we're going to give him the rest of it. And if he can hang up there and stay up there and do what we think is capable, then he's going to change his life probably in the month of January. So, no, we're excited. He's excited, and he's bought all the way in with Brandon, with Ross and the fitness program. I mean, this wasn't like a half-in deal. He's all in, living on site, and he is going through from A to Z everything that club has to offer, and he's ready to do it. So it's a perfect match.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes for sure. Again, email us using the contact form on Pulp. We'll see if you have a code to save with TLD. Tell Race Tech you listen to this show. They'll give you a discount on suspension work or motor work for your bikes. If you're a team and you need some consistent CNC work done to four-cylinder heads, four-stroke heads, they can do it for you. They've got all the technology there to do that, and racetech.com for more information. All right, I don't think we talked about this last week, and we should have, Daniel, because I think the news dropped the morning we did the show, or maybe the day before, or maybe I'm wrong and it dropped after. I don't know, but we didn't even touch on Jason Anderson to Pipes Motorsports Group. By the way, Pipes Motorsport, I see it as PMG, but it's still HEP. But I don't think HEP has anything to do. I think the people that were H and the E, George Holland and another guy, I think they're a little pulled back a little bit, and now it's Pipes Motorsport. I don't know. We call it HEP. We call it Pipes. Nobody knows. But anyways, Jason Anderson's riding for that team. We knew this for a long time, but it became official. His mechanic's going to be Josh Ellingson, Tomac's guy. He's moving over to him. Great guy, really knows the sport well. Larry Brooks is the manager. I worked for him for a year. I've known the dude forever. Intense, really good. He's going to get a lot out of those guys. But I think Jason's taking a little step backwards in bike. Let's face it, although Kenny's made that thing look pretty good. Just technology, just things like, we made a huge deal about Ken Roxa finally getting a works transmission, like a taller second gear, and just like things like that. Like Kawi probably has 14 taller second gears that you could use. So I think he's taking a step back in technology from the factory standpoint. But anyways, to me, Daniel, I think we're going to get more of the same from Jason Anderson. I think he's older now. He's not going to get any better. I don't think he's going to get any worse. I think we're going to see some moments of greatness, and then some other moments where the week and the grind of week in and week out Supercross catches up to him, and he gets his 6th and 7th and things like that. But what do you think?
Some positives and then some reality too, because he did have a rough year, and he admitted that, I think, even on your show and in other places that, or not on your show.
We did not.
Sorry.
We don't have Jason Anderson on our show.
It wasn't your show. Sorry. That would be Mr. Side's show.
I'm not familiar with that gentleman, but I did read a Racer X interview with Jason, and I think it was taken from some show.
Got it. No, Jason had a rough year. Obviously, there's a lot of secrecy around what happened with him this year, and obviously he wasn't in a great place for multiple reasons, so that is a reality. But one way to dig out of a tough place is a new opportunity, and I feel like that's already happened to him once. It's when he left Husqvarna and went to Kawasaki, and I actually think that we maybe saw the best version of him that year when he didn't win the title. Because the year he won the championship on Husky, he was really smart and crafty and did exactly what was needed to win, but he didn't just blow their doors off. He took advantage of a bunch of guys who were trying to fill the gap when Ryan Dungey left. It was like this free-for-all for the title, and everyone went crazy, and he didn't. And I think he outsmarted them, but when he went to Kawi, I think he was actually better that year. He just came up short against a really tough Eli Tomac. So I think you're going to see a motivated version of Jason like that, which will help him kind of recover from this bad year. On the bike, it's really hard to tell, because I think at the highest level, they're all close enough to where it really comes down to just comfort and mood. I think if your mood is right and you feel good, even a bike that's behind technology-wise can be even better for you. And if you look at what Kenny's done on it, as long as he's getting the same stuff as Kenny won a Triple Crown. He won the Daytona Supercross. He got second to Jet in the qualifier at the Motocross of Nations. That bike is good enough to do all that, which means it's capable. You put a motivated Jason Anderson on that, and I think we could see close to what we saw that first year on Kawi. Competition's tougher, so that's probably doesn't mean the same results. It doesn't mean 4 wins or whatever he had that year. But I would put him on the list.
7 wins, Daniel.
He had 7 that year?
Yes, I believe he had 7.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if I see that. I think the competition's changed. There's this freak out there and his freak brother that are in the class now. But at the same
freak and his freak brother.
Well, the other one's a freak now too. They're both freaks. Hunter's a freak now too.
I got to check this. Now that I say 7, let me check this, but go ahead.
Okay, check it. But I think he's doing World Supercross. I think he's the favorite to win that because I don't think Kenny's doing the entire thing. I don't know for sure if Kenny's doing the entire thing, but Jason is. And
Kenny's not. No, Kenny
okay,
is
so
not.
Jason to me is a favorite to win that. I think he probably can get it done. And then you roll into those first few rounds of the season, and I think you're going to get a great
7 wins.
You're going to get a great version of Jason Anderson. I mean, Sexton's changing teams, Eli's changing teams. To me, this one seems like maybe the easiest changeover because the expectations are lower. So I think we're going to see one of the best versions of Jason we've seen. I really do. I think Anaheim won too. Look out! I'll put him on the box at Anaheim won.
7 wins that year. Yeah, crazy.
Do you agree, though, that he was better that year than the championship year as far as the riding itself?
Yeah.
The actual on the bike was better.
No, for sure, without a doubt. That was a long time ago, 2022. That's 5 years ago. When we saw that. And, I mean, he'll be good to start the year and then all that. What I mean as far as the bike goes, and you're right, Daniel, Kenny showed the bike can be great. And I don't know Jason. We're not friends. I tried to buy some fried merch, but it didn't work. If he goes to them and says, "Hey, I need foot pegs 5 back and 2 back and 5 lower, and I need a shifter 4 closer," and things like that. I got a size 13 boot or whatever. Hep, there I go again. Pipes, whatever. They can't do that. They don't have that stuff. Kawi does.
The
Things
menu.
like that.
You're saying the menu isn't as big as a menu is at Kawi.
To customize that bike, the one year I went to Sandbox, I hung out there for a day, and I was watching Kenny test, and literally the one thing they had to test was a clutch basket with different teeth on the back, the main gear. They had 1 tooth difference. Kenny, you like that? Because as you know, Daniel, these guys don't like to move their rear axle pivot point, the chain length. They don't like that. It all affects the sag / shock / turning, all of that. So you try to leave your rear wheel, mostly near the back, and leave it the same no matter what you're doing. Well, Suzuki Kenny was no different, and they literally had a clutch basket, and that's it. And I was asking people, I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we changed clutch baskets because there's 1 tooth different. Like 1 year of RMZ 450 was 1 tooth different. But that's all they had. And then we did talk about that second gear now that he has Kenny. But things like that, like Suzuki doesn't have that. So if Jason comes into it happy with the base product, then he's going to be okay. But if he starts looking for weirdo stuff that factories can do, he might be a little disappointed. But I have to laugh. Here's my race tech rant. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go, and then I got something. You finish.
My race tech rant, and this is going to look like it's shitting on Jason, but it's not. It's shitting on all riders. Okay? Racetech.com. No, but if you read that interview that Jason did with that other dumb podcast show, if you read the interview, he's going on in there about, I can't train. I have a thyroid issue. I just get worn down. I can't do anywhere near the travel wears me down, and the thyroid, and and there's all these issues and problems on why he didn't perform this year, right? And I'm not saying any of them are fake or false. I don't know. Let's take him at his word. What's going to be any different with pipes? He's going to have the same physical issues. He said, I can't go out late at night. I can't, go partying anymore because it wears me out for days, and all that stuff. If you read that interview,
that's a good thing.
No, I know. But and this goes to all riders. This is the stuff they say about the reasons why is the reason, you're just wait, what? Yeah. Why did you tell me this? Am I signing you up for this? I don't know. That's my general race tech rant, Daniel. It's wait, man, you sound really screwed up with your health. So why would I sign you?
Well, the question is that what was going on that caused the issue in the past, and now it's figured out and you're going to be okay? Because remember, he had the elevation issue too until they figured that thing. So that's the question is this a carryover issue that's just not going away, or was that the issue that has now been fixed because of a change of schedule?
Make it sound like it was fixed.
Well, maybe. I mean, he's not doing outdoor. I know. I believe the deal is Supercross only. So maybe there's just some maneuvering in the workload, which is really smart, for being honest. Kenny, ask Ken Roxon. He's feeling good late summer.
Well,
go ahead.
My race tech rant is just riders telling us things that we didn't know. After fact.
That's never going to change. They don't want to show weakness. Cooper Webb, I've told this story before. told me he was 100% fine at the Daytona Supercross, and then went out and got on the podium, and then told me he was dying sick, barely showed up that week. And I'm like, bro, why didn't you tell me that before the race? And he goes, And it's like,
Yeah.
So these guys that's never going to change. They're always going to hide what they got going on. But here's a point that I do want to make on the bike. Whenever these guys switch to a new team, I think the excitement of the new and the energy and the back against the wall and going to prove something overrides the pickiness, because they're always good on their first year. It's weird. They always get on a new bike and they're great the first year when they have limited options because they don't have time. By year 2 and 3, when all of a sudden they get nitpicky and they want a little bit of this and a little bit of that, that's when all of a sudden the relationships go sour. Year 1, because of the lack of time, they don't really get to go too deep into the motorcycle. So if Kenny's got that bike good enough and Jason gets on it and goes, wow, this is good, then the mood, the tone, the energy, the World Super, all of that will lead him into not demanding too much out of the motorcycle. It'd be year 2 where you got to worry when all of a sudden he's comfortable. Now he wants to start asking for the details. It happens every time. So to me, it might be a blessing that he has no time. He's going racing in 2 weeks. The bike's already somewhat done. It's not new. He might just get on that bike and the mood carry him through the 2026 season, and we might get a better version of him.
And Jason does seem like a vibe guy, right?
He's a vibe guy. And again, if he feels good and he's happy in the surroundings, which I think the Pipes, I think he'll like them. I think he'll like Larry. I think he'll like his mechanic. I mean, they kind of surrounded him with a lot of good. Even Mohead, Mohead, who was here at ClubMX, he's not here no more. He's with Jason as his practice bike guy. He has surrounded himself with a lot of things that he likes. He's traveling the world. He's going, making money. He's got good people around him, and he ain't got enough time to really screw it up. So to me, I think you see a great January at a minimum, and then a great 26. He's kind of a dark horse for me.
When I talk about the bike, I mean just if he wants to. Maybe he's happy right off the bat and and doesn't care. But if he wants special shit, like Kawi could have done, he's not getting it. But but maybe he doesn't need it.
Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out Burger, they don't have the biggest menus ever, but they have a line outside into the street, and it's because what they have is good. And Suzuki's pretty good. Look at the resume this year.
I've never heard it put like that, Daniel, but it's brilliant. Yeah. Kawi is
too big of a menu.
Kawi's Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Kawi's Cheesecake Factory, and Suzuki's In-N-Out.
But the one thing they don't have on their menu is power, apparently.
Listen, because when I go to Cheesecake Factory, I'm like, listen, guys, you have pizza, tacos, steak, and cheese. Like, what do you do well?
Same with BJ's. When you go to BJ's, I can't even order. I don't even know what to do. You go to Chick-fil-A, it's the number one. American cheese, no pickle, go big on the fries. It's very simple, and it's good every time. So there you go, Jason.
So Pipes is Chick-fil-A. Good job, Pipes.
Yeah.
Okay. All good points. Jason Anderson talk leads me right into my next segment for you, DB, because he is racing World Supercross, and maybe I'm missing someone here, but I have to think it's Anderson or Savacci for the World Supercross title. Joey rides this stuff really well, as we've seen. Kenny's doing 1 race or 2 races. Eli's jumping in. Cooper Webb's jumping in. So they're, as far as the guys doing all rounds, Jason Anderson could end up bringing Yellow Magic its first, it's another World Supercross title, I should say, because Kenny won it.
Yeah.
So, there is that, and then those vibes can go straight into Anaheim 1. So, this poses my question for you, DB. Which race or series are you most looking forward to in the offseason? We got Paris Supercross coming up, the Lawrence brothers, Cooper Webb, Malcolm, Vial making his Honda debut. We've got the World Supercross coming up with all the guys we just talked about, and Freeze on a Stark. And then we have AusX Open, which is sort of its own special race. It's the final round of the Australian round, but it also has its own special race with the Lawrence brothers and Cooper Webb and some other people making their and we know their Australian debuts. Yep. So Daniel, what are you most looking forward to?
I mean, I know this is the JT answer, but all of them for different reasons, right? I mean, I'm just being fair there. I mean, it's pretty equal across the board. The World Supercross one, Deegan going to Buenos Aires was, I mean, I didn't see that coming, so that's pretty wild. And he might do more. I heard he's going to maybe do more. But Kenny's racing that one. Again, back to what you said, Anderson, Savacci for sure. There's your title fight. I think Christian Craig's going to be good in this series too. I think don't be surprised if Christian has a little bit of a Jason Anderson type thing too, where he feels really motivated and happy with his new life. But you throw Kenny in there. I think Justin Cooper's going to that one. That one's going to be exciting right out of the gate, and mainly because the Deegan is. Look, I've heard 250, but then I've heard people say he's racing his 450 debut there too, and I don't have the answer to that one. I've heard both from people that I trust, so I don't know what's happening with Deegan. But if he was on the 450, then that is the number one for me for sure, because that wherever he races that thing first is going to be unreal. Paris and Australia actually remind me of each other now because it's the Lawrences and Cooper Webb. Cooper seems to be like the third brother when it comes to off-season races. He goes where the Lawrences go. He did it last year. He's doing it this year. So getting them back-to-back is pretty cool. I want to see Vial in Paris because that's a new look. And where OzX really took a hit for me, and I'm bummed, is that Juju and Davies are both injured, so they're not racing because watching those two go at it in the 250 class would have been a lot of fun based on how they did this year. And now they lost that one. So I would say that one takes a mini dip because of those two. Paris about Vial. I definitely want to see Vial. But then for me, Buenos Aires, because again, Kenny's there, Justin Cooper's there. And depending on what happens with Deegan, that to me, that would take that one to a whole nother level if he was riding a 450, which I've heard from some people. So just don't know what it's going to be because he's on the 250 list. So
I haven't talked to Deegs lately, but I can reach out if you want. Yeah. I haven't heard.
So,
and please tell me you're not, super biased in this account either.
Dan. Oh, I'm being as absolutely fair as possible. I feel all my points were very valid, and I'm not being biased.
We did lose a round in World Supercross. They added a Sweden round, but we lost Indonesia, I think. Malaysia, that's it. We lost Malaysia and gained a Sweden round later on. So good to see that. I had heard the Malaysia round was canceled, and I was just like, oh no, World Supercross guys, like, oh no. Because we all know they've had some problems keeping the race schedule tight. But good to see they added Gothenburg in there. That's a real famous race. They've gone back to the 80s.
Stockholm.
Oh, Stockholm. Okay, my bad. Well, Sweden's had a long history of off-season Supercrosses going back to the 80s. So the fans should go out and cheer and everything else. I wonder if they're going to maybe hail Lars Lindstrom, maybe honor him for the night.
Maybe.
Freeze on a Stark?
Freeze on a Stark. And so let me share with you all the reality of this dynamic. Vince is one of the best starters probably in the history of the sport. If you were to just go from his very first gate drop to whatever his most recent one is, it's unreal numbers. Starks whole shot very easily because, again, the way that they work with their power, with the clutch, no clutch, the automatic, the non-gearbox, that whole thing is really good on start. So you're walking into 15, I'd almost say 15 out of 15 guaranteed whole shots in that format. So if you're watching this, just know Eli and Kenny and Jason and Joey, they're all going to go through Vince every single race. That's enough for me to watch right there.
You're in. You are in.
Guaranteed. Yeah, right. Every race is going to have something going on. That's all I got to say.
And they're good. Those Starks are really good.
They are good. Apparently their weakness, though, from what I'm learning, is their weakness has been whoops.
Whoops, yeah.
And
they're pretty heavy.
And Vince isn't like the whoop guy. So look, all I got to say is they got to have a corner or a camera in the corner after the whoops. Just put one there all year long. Guaranteed you will have a highlight reel by the end of this thing because he's going to get past in the whoops, and I would hate to be the guy that does it because there's a berm after.
Yeah. So you really went full JT there. Do you have a ranking for the races? Like, do you have?
Oh, yeah. No, Buenos Aires for sure.
Buenos Aires, okay.
Well, yeah, but I mean, because and you got to think of what's new. Like Paris is rad, but Paris is always rad. OzX is rad, but it's always rad. My intrigue in those two is what Hunter is going to be looking like, and I hope again I want to see the next version of Hunter, which is take it indoors. So that's my interest there. But Buenos Aires is brand new. It's South America. It's the opening round of a 5-round championship. So to me, that one is by far individually probably the most exciting race of the whole offseason, even more than the other 4 of that series. So to me, it's Buenos Aires for sure.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I was at Paris. I think I've gone 15 years in a row or something. It's been every year. I'm going again this year. And yeah, Hunter and Jet really rode well last year and gave us a great show in 2 of the main events. It was really, really cool to watch those 2 guys. And as a little, like, it's hard to take anything from Paris going into Anaheim for sure. I've made that mistake before, so I try not to now. But Cooper Webb in 2020 2023 was way off the pace. Cooper Webb in 2024 was really close to the Lawrences, and then we saw what happened in 2025 Supercross. So there is something to take away from it. Also, terrific pizza place upstairs, second level in the mall by the stadium. I will be visiting that again. Terrific pizza place. So looking forward to that.
Hey, Webb, by the way, talk about filling up the schedule, man. Paris, Ozex, a couple World Supercrosses. Like, that dude is cashing checks and making sure that he's staying active. But again, that helped him last year. And if he's trying to defend that title, which again, nobody has defended the Supercross title since Dungey in 17. It has not been defended. And if you're Webb and you want a shot at doing this and being the first guy in almost a decade, then chase the Lawrences around. I mean, honestly, it helped him last year. I think it elevated his speed and then put him in position to take advantage when things landed perfectly for him, which when Eli and Jet went out, it really landed. There was an opportunity to go chase one-on-one, which he's good in one-on-one. So talk about a guy who's going to get in the bag and elevating in the ways he needs to. Chase Jet around. I mean, that's, if you want to get faster, there's your guy. So he's really smart with the way he's approached these last couple of years, for sure. Yeah,
I think you'll see 2026 will be the last year Cooper Webb does outdoors. And he'll go to a straight Supercross only / World Supercross / travel around, get paid schedule after that, I believe. So you'll see one last chance to see Coop outdoors. Although this year we only made it about halfway.
He'll go Kenny. So. He'll go Kenny.
Yeah.
Or Jason. What Jason's doing now. So.
Everyone's chasing the JB program. Everyone's chasing the JB program.
JB, the innovator, man. The innovator of how to cash in for another decade, dude. So smart.
Speaking of innovation, the guys at Stomp Grip are offering you 10% off. PulpMX 25, the code to save with StompGrip.com. Trusted by top riders across Supercross, motocross, and off-road. They make kits specifically designed to fit your bike. They offer universal dirt bike kits that you can cut to fit as well. Create your own 3D grip tape pieces to place where you feel you need extra traction. And these are frame grips to help you control you need to stay locked in. Engineered for the high friction zones, Stomp Grip's 3D grip tape helps reduce arm pump, improve body positioning, and protect your plastics and frame from wear and tear. ZoolsBagCo.com as well. PulpMX 25. Pulp25 is the code to save with Zool's Bagco. You look at Team Triumph guys, they're using Zool's Bag, Phoenix Racing, Zool's bags, and they've got you covered, man. From taking the kids to sporting events to motocross stuff, whatever it is, traveling as well, carry-on bags, backpacks, all of it. Zool's Bagco. I love the zippers on the Zool's stuff. It's really well made. And ZoolsBagco.com and Seat Concepts as well. Pulp25. Ride the world with them. Pulp25 to save 15% off your next purchase. I just got a new seat for the Blue Crew, red and white crew. The model that I have, but Seat Concepts gave me a whole entire base, foam, cover, everything, and Pulp25 code to save. I had to break it to my other guy in NorCal, my other seat guy who's served me well over the years. I just decided to go Seat Concepts. It pained me a little bit, but both seat companies are awesome. So I had to, switch it up for once. So, but shout out NorCal guy as well. Factory Beta, Phoenix Racing, and more using Seat Concepts. Ride the world with them. Race 2.0 to the Comfort Series. Also, Firepower Maxxis, ASV Levers, Decal Works, Alpine Stars, Zool Seat Concepts, TLD, Race Tech, all on board with us. A few things before we go out here, DB. Our guy, Phil, he's in Australia. He gets a ride with Dak Racing, CDR Racing, and he goes into the first round, and it's all over social media. He gets into a Luke Clout, makes the journey over to the pits, in his face. Listen, Daniel, you saw the video. There's a little backstory, which I'll get into, but Phil, come on, Phil. Come on. Right?
I mean, it's so on brand. So, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? It would have been weird if he didn't. It would have been weird if he would have just sat in his own pit, but no, he charged over there. And, I shared this on my show. When I was younger and my grandma used to get on me, she used to kind of point her fingers and hit me in the collarbone, when I was bad. She would kind of ridicule or
really?
discipline me with, and used to poke me in the collarbone. And I used to get so pissed, man. It was like a kid. I hated it. I can't believe my grandma letting her get away with this, but she would poke me in the collarbone. And I'm pretty sure Phil maybe gave Cloud a collarbone or two, and I had flashbacks to my youth, dude, and I would have snapped if it was me. And if you're Cloud, I don't know what he said exactly, but if he apologized, what did he say? Because
Phil was a little chapped at Luke going down to Australia? Because I guess I didn't see this, but I guess Cloudy had made a couple comments on social or maybe in some interviews about imports getting the rides, so, Dino and McElrath, all these guys, right? Getting these rides, and Phil or whatever. So Cloud had made a couple of comments. So Phil was a little chapped at this going in and made a few, I think he even hashtag imports or something in one of his posts.
Oh, okay.
So low-key beef with Clout. Well, not maybe Clout didn't even know it. Low-key beef with Phil with Clout for saying that, why are you giving these rides to imports going in? So.
All right. Well, that adds another layer. That's fun. And then as far as the takeout goes, to me, it was like it was an impatient move on Clout's part. Just he was going for it a little risky on a slick track, washed out into him, took him out. But when it went, oh God, I can't believe it's Phil though, and it's the first lap. Was that the first lap of the heat race? Was that the heat?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
It was. I don't know if it was heat or main, but it was early. Yeah.
It's early in the championship, and of course the video. I mean, great work for the video. Just get on over there. But what I was going to say is, if I'm Clout and I'm like, hey man, I apologize, like that was an accident, and then Phil keeps going and pokes me in the collarbone. Dude, then I'm probably going to like lay him out 10 times harder the next chance I get, because it's like I said, I'm sorry, dude. But if Clout was mouthing off back and it was like just back and forth a little bit, then if I'm Phil, then I think it's rightfully deserved. I mean, you know what I mean? But to me, if I'm Clout, I'm apologizing because I don't think he did it on purpose. But Phil had to let him know right out of the gate. I just laughed, dude, for probably 10 minutes straight. I couldn't believe it. I coached Phil out here at club before he left, and was making fun of him, dude. Like, oh, back to Death Cross, huh? And he's got it, he says his thing. Yeah. And then the first thing you know, he's on the ground and he's in the pit. Someone else. It's just amazing. All
Tyler Bowers needed to do in Arena Cross days, DB, was poke you in the collarbone.
It would have been the worst decision. He would have won all those titles. I can tell you right now. I mean, he barely won the what. I mean, I don't want to relive that. Which, by the way, do you remember what you did there, right?
No.
You invited me in Salt Lake City at the Salt Lake City 7 to come in and be on the Pulp Show, and I was a co-host, and then you had him walk in live and join us live, and him and I hadn't spoken at all. We were like absolutely no speaking, and you brought him in live and sat him down next to me without warning.
I did?
Yes, in Salt Lake City. You don't remember that on the Pulp Show?
No, we were in that conference room. We were in the hotel conference room.
Yes, and I hadn't talked to him. That was a real legitimate wall up right there. There was no communication, like not a good thing. And you walked him right in on me live.
Did you guys talk? How did it go, the rest of the show?
We worked it out. We were cool. We were cordial in person, and then I don't know about after. So, I mean, I'm over it now. But,
I also surprised you with Uncle Jim, but that was a better surprise.
Oh, that was one of the happiest moments of my last 10 years. Right, I couldn't believe that. Right. Jim walks in, my heart just dropped. But no, you walked Bowers in on me live on the Pulp Show, face to face.
Did I know you guys were beefing? Okay. Yes. So I did.
Yeah, man. And we had to like right there in the spot be like, what's up? That was Salt Lake City 7. It was one of those for sure.
That was one of the times that I first met the Lawrence brothers, and then they went to the hotel snack room and charged everything to my room.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. During the old what do you call that when we were there? Residency. The first big long residency. So Tyler Bowers, man. I haven't heard his. Hey, he's a team manager now, though, right?
He's team manager for Ty Lube. Yeah, I did a podcast with him a little while ago. So it sounds like he's in a good place.
That's a good spot for him.
Yeah, seems like it for those guys. So, okay, a couple things before we sign off here. Decal and ASV, Daniel, we'll get to them. I don't know if you want to do it right now. Or
yeah, absolutely.
ASV levers. Thanks to Bob for sending me some levers, by the way. Bob sent me some stuff.
Bob's a man. Hey, ASV was awarded as the #1 lever choice in the 2025 Vital MX Audience Survey, Steve, for the 11th time. ASV has new lever applications for 2026, including the all-new Yamaha YZ450F with a new hydraulic clutch lever. Join Team ASV. Apply for sponsorship through hookit.com, mxsponsor.com, or directly through the ASV website. ASV-sponsored pro and amateur racers get access to the new ASV products before they're available to the public. Check out the latest ASV products, including the new MIG F4 Pro Pack, and use the code PulpMX in all caps for 20% off at ASV Inventions. and of course DecalMX.com. From beginners to seasoned vets, race teams, project builds, and magazine tests, DecalWorks' mission is to cater to those who love to ride, upholding the true definition of quality, service, and knowledge. Visit DecalMX.com and use the promo code PulpMX25 for 20% off of your custom graphics.
Yeah, I love the guys at DecalWorks, ASV, Alpine Stars, Stomp Grip, Firepower Maxes, Zool Seat Concepts. Email us using the contact form on Pulp to give you a discount at Troy Lee Designs. Daniel, you were just talking to Jeb at Troy Lee. He's loving the show, so that's awesome. He's a great guy.
Yep.
And Checkers at Race Tech also on board with us as well. And thanks to the fraud for putting this thing together, even though he's not with us on this episode. Something about his family, something about camping. I don't know.
Just make sure his pay don't go through this week. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. No pay for him. A couple things to wrap up, DB. This is more your territory than mine, but I saw that Leum Oehlhof, who I know his dad really well, Joe. I was a mechanic back in the day when Joe raced for Subway and everybody else. Leum Oehlhof has done some switching lately, Yamaha to SLR Honda, and now he's going to be PRMX Kawi. Really highly touted, bit of a bidding war for him at one point, Liam, but then injury struck, a couple of subpar years, but now sort of back up on the upswing. That's kind of how I see his career. Maybe you can correct me or fill us in.
Yeah, I mean, we could start with a bidding war. I was on the losing end of that bidding war. So go back a couple years at Loretta's. He's a late bloomer. He wasn't a big amateur guy. He came on late in the later stages of an 85. But on Super Mini, this one summer, man, he was incredible, and we made a hard offer at him. I mean, we were trying to get him on the Husqvarna side. Nate Ramsey wanted him, I wanted him, and he ended up taking the Yamaha deal. At that point, Yamaha had a nice little pathway and pipeline into Star. Towers had just done it, and I think there was a thought that maybe that was a pathway into Star's program. And he just honestly just had some untimely injuries because the next year at Loretta's, he won on a 250 in a limited class. He was awesome. But then just weird injuries and some bad timing with some things really just set it off and detoured him. But he's now with the PRMX Kawasaki team. He's going to do their Arena Cross, the Partzilla Arena Cross series. He'll go into SMX Next for another season. And honestly, I mean, he's a favorite to win those things next year. And I'm happy for him.
The SMX Next, he is? Yeah?
Yeah. Because that series or that whole thing is kind of changing. At one point, Steve, it was like win and bounce. Well, now because there's not a lot of rides available, that thing is stacked up. So mostly every single kid from last year is coming back. Like Meneer's coming back to that. Gordon's coming back to that. Timmerman, I'm hearing, is maybe going back to that too, including Fowler and Gibson. And I mean, all these kids are in there, and Liam's going back in there too. So, I mean, I'll just give you all a preview for Anaheim 2 and Houston. Those are the first two futures rounds. That class is loaded. It's the same kids, but then just more of them. So, I mean, it's going to be 20 incredible kids on the gate, and Liam is one of them. So, he would be in that list of kids that could win it next year, and he's found a home with the PRMX Kawi. Just saw that this week, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah, like I said, I know Joe really well, the dad, and we call each other, I started calling him Legend whenever I saw him way back. I've been calling him Legend for 20 years because I worked for a privateer who was sponsored by FNS Kawi Suzuki. Remember FNS in Ottawa, Ohio?
Yep.
And so they helped us with bikes and parts. They gave us a deal on stuff. So I parked at FNS and built my bike a few rounds of the Nationals, right? Just kind of using that shop as a home base. Really good dudes. I forget the owner's name, bigger guy with a mustache, really nice guy, Rob or something. Anyways, dude, the parts guy there, just a young kid, was telling me about this legend that was coming up from amateurs named Joe Oehlhof. And just wait till Joe Oehlhof comes. And I saw Joe Oehlhof quad, and I saw Joe Oehlhof beat all these guys at the RM Cup, and I saw Joe Oehlhof do dude, this parts kid couldn't shut up about this amateur named Joe Oehlhof. And Oehlhof, whatever. And I'm like, holy shit, like I better get ready. I better buckle up for this kid. And obviously Joe had a nice pro career, made some money, had plenty of main events and everything
Subway?
else. But
was he a
Subway? He was on Subway Honda. Yeah, he was Subway Honda with JT at one point. Joe rode for AM Leonard, KTM at one point. He rode for a few different teams. But anyways, I tell Joe, I'm like, dude, this parts kid, you were the legend of Ohio, man. And so I just call him Legend, and then he started calling me Legend. So literally for 30 years now, no, not 30, 25 years now, we see each other. Legend, like every single time. It's hilarious. He's
funny.
a great dude. But this Parts kid, man, you would have thought Jesus Christ was coming down to ride because this kid just wouldn't shut up about Joe Oehlhof. And it was hilarious. Yeah, so I think Joe was Team Green, maybe? Maybe that was before your time, Daniel, but he was a Team Green kid. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, it was a cool story. So good luck to Leum.
Yeah, Liam's good. He's a good kid, and I'm very happy for him because this year was rough in ways that were really a bummer for him because he's better than the results have shown. So if he bounces back next year, don't act shocked. His trajectory was leading to the top of that class a year ago. He's just
I mean, look, there was a bidding war for a reason. There really was. Joe told me about some of the stuff that was going on. It was insane. Guys like you know, and everybody else throwing money
Kawi,
at him.
everybody.
So,
I mean, it was he left Loretta's that summer in a super mini, and it was like jaw dropping. And he had a bidding war, and again, Yamaha, the NSA Yamaha team got him. So
yeah, and then also, when does the 24-year-old Aden Keefer make his SMX Next debut?
He's not that old. That's not.
I know.
Nice.
I just love bugging Chris and Aden about it, though. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I actually don't know what he's doing, but he would be in that same situation where it's either you stay and you do the SMX Next combines and futures again, or you go pro. And that's a big debate right now because do you stick around and try to win that thing and go win and in and get a deal, or do you just say, forget it? I mean, I can tell you right now, even at Club, if you want me to give you some insight on our thinking, was we weren't really willing to go and grab a rookie right out of that class, whether it would have been a Gordon or a Manier or a Timmerman. We want a guy who's already been in the top 10 that we know is going to go and get the starts and be up front and chase top fives without having a year of development. So for some of these kids out there, maybe your pathway isn't winning futures and getting a pro deal. Maybe you go pro and suck it up for a year or two and develop like Hunter Yoder did, because to me, he was a safer pick for what we're trying to create at Club than going with a rookie kid that may have it versus a guy who's now 21 years old and gets thirds in heat races like fairly easily and was ninth in points. It was an easier pick for us. So,
well, to me, Daniel, from the outside, not following amateurs nearly as much as you or anybody else, but watching these highly touted kids not have good SMX Next races or series as a whole, right? We just saw them throwing it away or not riding well. I'm thinking of Landon Gordon or Timmerman or Gibson. Many examples of these kids not doing very well in these SMX Next races. And let's face it, it's Supercross, it's lights, it's tough blocks, it's everything. There's different reasons. But to me, when I talk to decision makers that you were once, or Ryan Holiday is now, or Mitch Payton, or I'm thinking of Lars or anybody else, Nathan Ramsey I've talked to, you guys have, and I'm putting you in this spot because you were once there, Daniel, it seemed to me that you guys had your kids and results almost didn't matter because shit happens in racing. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't think of a kid. Okay, Julian is one. Beaumer is one. But can you tell me a kid that really performed at SMX Next and got a ride? I mean, you already had Davies. You signed Davies. You gave him that shot.
Oh, you're saying like from outside of a program?
Yeah, from outside of the group of kids. Because I'll be like, I hate to pick on Enzo, but he didn't have a great series here and there. He did win because of some attrition. But I asked somebody like, dude, Timmerman, like, it's not going good or whatever. And they're just like, yeah, he's fine. He'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. Like, so it didn't seem, Daniel, to me that the decision makers placed a ton of importance on actual real results at SMX Next.
Yeah. Well, this would be the first year that happened. So if you think back to its inception, the first year, Hymas and DiFrancesco won all of them. They both got factory rides. The next year, it was Bennick, Cochran, and Beaumer. They all three got factory rides. The next year, it was Drew Adams and Cole Davies. They both got factory rides.
But they had rides going.
They had amateur rides, but those rides
yes,
turned into pro rides. This is the first year that didn't happen. Gordon won 2 of them and now got another chance to go back and do it again with Star. Timmerman won 1 of them, and it's a little unknown what's happening with him. Cade Johnson, he won from outside of a program. He was a full privateer, but it was the mud race, so no one really said, oh, grab him. So it's unfair for him, but that's the reality of that race. It was a mud race. And then Federstoff won the last one, but none of those kids got factory rides, where in the past every one of them did. So, and that's what I'm saying is the 250 class is so full right now with factory riders, with the Jordan Smiths and the McAdoos. Maybe this is the start of it thinning out. that all these good amateur kids have nowhere to go. And now they're all looked bad upon, like they're not that good, but it's actually because they're all good. And that's the difference is there's always been one or two. Right now, there is 8 to 10 really good amateur kids that I believe 3 years from now will be filling up the 250 Pro class. There's just nowhere for them to go right now, and they look bad because they're all losing against each other, but they're all actually really good. So it's a deeper, less top-heavy class, and so they don't look as shiny. But I do think if we fast forward a few years, all these kids are going to be the 250 class. They're all going to be the factory 250 class.
Okay.
5 years from now.
I just like results aren't seeming to matter for these kids to me, for the decision makers, because it's just shit happens in Supercross and like whatever, you know. They're all talented.
But
They're all good.
if you're Kawi, it was Marchbanks versus Timmerman. That would have been a choice. If you're Star Yamaha, I mean they kept Mosman, and Manir and Gordon are staying amateur. It would have been one of those two kids or Mosman. So the teams are still trusting the older guys before they're taking the bait on the kids. That's this year.
Did you just confirm that Star is keeping Manir? Because that was sort of up in the air.
I'm very fairly and very confident that they are, and I believe he'll be in futures for Supercross, and then maybe pro in the Nationals.
There was some debate about maybe he wasn't going to stay there, right? At some point,
there was talk with him going to KTM, which is still a confusing situation for them because Juju's injury now puts them in a weird spot. We haven't heard really about the Kunin, so the KTM stuff is a little weird. But Manir was attached to them pretty heavily for a while.
Kunins are doing some Supercross next year to start.
I think, that's what I think is going to kind of. But that's it. They're in a weird spot. So, but no, I believe Manir will be back with Star. I think racing futures. So
Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech, Blair Matthes show. Last note: Dean Wilson. A lot of you saw this on social media, myself included. We love Dino, class act, great dude. And we saw that he lost his mom, Jackie, to cancer. She'd been battling it for a number of years. His dad, Andy's been going through some health stuff as well over the years. I know both of the Wilsons really well. I've known them forever. Salt of the earth dudes. All cooler. Both of them were cooler than Dean. And I love talking to both of them at the races. Jackie was so awesome. And we saw his reaction to racing and winning and losing his mom. He said the week before that he was dedicating it to his mom, and then she passed and he raced. And rest in peace, Jackie Wilson. She was one of a kind. Her accent was super strong, and it was hilarious to talk to her. I'll miss her. And Andy, the husband, Dean's dad, is one hell of a guy. And so thinking of the Wilsons, Daniel.
Yeah, same here. Prayers out for the Wilson family and to Dino. I will say Dean has always been such a funny, positive person to me because of Grandpa Earl and just the way he presents himself. He's nailed the microphone on the positive, happy, goofy side, but he nailed that interview on the more emotional side, which don't remember seeing that side of him really, because I don't think he's ever felt anything that heavy before. Right. But it's one thing to have a mic in front of you and have to go on and share what you're feeling. It's another thing to have to race with that weight. And he nailed not only the race, but he nailed the microphone. And that, I mean, my eyes were filled listening to that interview because it was so authentic and pure and heavy, and he nailed it. So that's just the other side of Dino that I've never seen. Now I know he can nail it when he's being funny, and he can nail it at his most difficult time. But shout out to him. That was a great performance again on the track and on the mic. It was awesome. Yeah,
gonna miss Jackie Wilson for sure. Had a good time with her over the years, lots of jokes, and Andy's the same way. Andy's a one of a kind man, and you can see where Dean gets his class, his humor, his professionalism, all of that, over the years. So, gonna miss her, and thinking of you, Dino, here on the Blair Matthes project. All right, that's it for another week here. Good stuff. And you know what? We don't even need Keller. We don't even need him.
Yeah, he just blew it.
Clip him.
He just blew it. We just figured out we could do this without him, so that's what you get.
He got Wally pipped. Yeah, he got Wally pipped. You know what that is?
Nope.
Okay, so Wally Pipp was the shortstop for the Yankees before Lou Gehrig went in, and Gehrig set the all-time record for games played, and Wally Pipp never got his job back.
Ooh. Okay, so that's kind of like Drew Bledsoe for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Got hurt, and Romo came in off the practice squad.
Yeah.
Drew was done.
There we go. Right.
There you go. Later,
thoughts on
Drew.
the Cowboys Thoughts on the Cowboys losing to the Panthers?
No, they're losers. What? I don't even know what to say. They're pathetic. And of course, Jerry Jones. Can I just throw in one football thing just to just get it out because I've been thinking about it. Jerry Jones, this is how stupid he is. So you trade for George Pickens, which means he's in a 1-year deal, prove it kind of deal. You give Dak no defense. So what is Dak going to do then? He's going to carry it on his back, and he's going to have to play like a madman to make up the difference. So, of course, he's feeding Pickens non-stop.
Well, CD Lamb's out.
Yep.
CD Lamb's out. Yep.
And now Pickens' value is so high. Good luck signing him now, Jerry, you moron. You could have signed him before, but now because you gave no defense, Dak has to play out of his mind, throwing it to Pickens, who's scoring every game, and now you're not going to be able to afford him either. So he's just the dumbest GM in football, and it's laughable and painful at the same time. So
how about the Titans? They're like, dude, you lost to the Raiders. You are fired. I watched that entire game, Daniel. It was two teams that didn't want the game. I don't want it. You take it. You take it. But I will say that Cam Ward, dude, he can rip it, man. He's got a gun on him.
I think that the Titans thought, you know what, we've got a pretty good quarterback. We need to get a better coach right now before we ruin this quarterback, because that's what they would do with him. So that was actually probably a good move.
They lost to the Raiders. And, again, when you lose to the Raiders, you make drastic moves.
You look in the mirror hard.
You do. It causes you to go deep into the mirror.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it. Congrats on the Yoder signing for you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You and Mike B pulling it together.
That's right.
Some guy named Brandon probably helped a little bit, but mostly you and Mike B.
Of course.
And looking forward to seeing Yoder on a ClubMX bike. And man, thanks everybody for watching and listening. No thanks to the fraud, none whatsoever. And we appreciate you, Troy Lee Designs and Race Tech, Blair Matthes Project. And we'll probably see you guys next week to talk more silly season stuff, off season, and all of that. And man, thanks, DB.